All right, y'all. So let's get into it. It's about to be a new week. This will be the last full week of this month. Cause next week, I think we trade. I think Monday. Let's just look at the calendar. Oh, that guess. So yeah, so we just have Monday of next week. That'll be the last day of the month, but this will be the last full week trading. So let's be mindful of that. So this week and next week, I am expecting some type of volatility going in. And let's just get right into what we were thinking of seeing last week and what happened during the week, and then what we're gonna anticipate for this new week coming in. So last week I mentioned if we were going to shoot higher, trade higher, we'll see some type of weekly bullish profile. So first few days trading lower and then followed by higher prices. So you would see that if you not last week but the previous week, you will see that we have Monday and Tuesday trading lower, Wednesday, Thursday we're trading higher. So this week started off differently. Monday we traded higher, took out last week's high. We also took out this high right here, this candle's high, and then we started trading lower. So last week was a bearish week. So we've seen lower prices the entire week and not just for the first 2 days. So that's fine. And we're also in, if we look at this daily range from this low to this high, as outlined, we're in a premium price point. So we could potentially see us trading down into this discount. And I want to have this fair value gap outlined because we could potentially see us trading down into this discounted level and then start trading higher. But all of this is hypothetical, and we have to see how we open on Sunday or later on today and how we end up trading throughout the week. But if these levels are being held, I would want to see price go back higher. And we also want to keep in mind, I want to keep in mind this suspension block also. So a suspension block would be an imbalance at the top and at the bottom of the candle that makes the fair value gap. So you have to include both of those and not just the wicks. So a regular fair value gap would just include the wicks, and you're gonna miss a lot of entries if you don't include these volume imbalances also. So your measurements will be kind of off. So these are the two things I'm looking forward to, what I'm looking out for, and see how price reacts at these levels and at certain times of the day. But if this is so now, same thing with last week. I mentioned if we're gonna have higher prices, we'll trade lower first and then trade back higher. This week, I would like to see price trade into this discounted level relative to the daily range. So going in, I would not be surprised for these short-term highs to be taken and then trading lower. So I do want to be mindful of that. And you think about it, we broke this swing point here. This is the last swing point that we made. Broke that swing point. Now we could potentially see lower prices. We just have to be mindful of our levels and react to our higher time frame levels. So let's take a look at ES. I do have a lot of alerts. So a lot of the same makeup here. And ES was trading at all-time highs. So I want to include that volume imbalance. I do have this alert here. Let's adjust it. I'm gonna delete this alert. And then these are 4-hour wicks. I didn't edit these. These are 4-hour wicks. So now depending on how we trade into later on this evening. If we're staying below this level, especially depending on how we open and the new week gap that we have, I would want to see us trade down into this discount also on ES. We have a lot of these inefficiencies that are left behind, and this price went higher to all-time highs. So I do want to see these levels retested before us potentially going higher. So that's what I'm on the lookout for this week. You can see similar price action. Let's look at silver and gold. Silver made a nice run. You see we respected this weekly fair value gap here to T. Wow, beautiful price action. This is a beautiful price action on silver, honestly. And then gold didn't trade into that. And you can see that's why you need to have both pairs. Gold did not trade into that weekly fair value gap. We did not trade into it. So based on the market structure, we have this high, and we have this swing high. So now, can we potentially see some sort of reversal? Yes. So now let's see where I would measure. Because we had this fast price action. So I'll say this was our swing low. So there was this small daily fair value gap here. So I'll use that as my swing low. So if we can get down into here, we'll just have to see what price action is giving us coming into the week, honestly. Gonna be mindful of this gap, this daily gap on silver, because these are our swing points on silver. I like these relative equal highs here. So these are our swing points. We had to be mindful. If we just straight right into these levels without any retracement, then we could see that being tapped into later on in the week. So just being mindful of these higher time frame levels and reacting off those levels. You don't want to react off lower time frame levels. So this is a real quick and easy, simple review. Do have a course coming out, so be on the lookout of that. Free course. I won't be charging anything for it. So, like I mentioned, want to trade into this discount here. Want to trade into discount ES, and we are seeing higher prices on oil. And I don't know, this price action on oil been so crazy. So this is actually a weekly suspension block. So we're trading above that now. So these highs would be a nice target. So this is this last swing high. If we're able to stay above this price action, we stayed above this daily fair value gap here. So see we're respecting this gap. This all will be predicated on how we open, because that Sunday open is really important, honestly. But I can't predict how we open on Sunday, honestly. So I'm not gonna try to do that. We'll just see how it goes. And if oil is going, excuse me, if oil is going higher, then that would correlate with lower prices on these indices. So that's all for my analysis, for my overview, what I'm anticipating for this week. And this week, let's emphasize less is more. You know, so wait for our levels to be triggered and targeted, and go for our low hanging fruit objectives. Nothing more, nothing less. And I hope whenever you're watching this video, all is well. And until next time, love.